Welcome to the Business Playbook with John and Lewis of Prime Property Auctions. I've been working with John and Lewis for a couple of years now. I'm really excited to share this story. When I started working with John and Lewis, it was just them two, with 2 members of staff in a tiny wee office. Now, 15 staff doing 200 grand a month in the office that you're about to see. We're sponsored today by A1 SEO, putting you at the top of Google, and the Business Playbook is brought to you by Alleyoop, PPC done properly. Come and check out what the guys have actually built, and then we're going to go over the story of how they built it. John and Lewis, welcome to the Business Playbook, finally.
Oh, thanks for having us, Jak.
Thank you, Jak. You guys are the best.
Do you want us, right, let's do you want us to be sincere?
Forget about all this.
Just keep that in, that's fine.
We start the Business Playbook always a certain way, but I want to change it up a wee bit. It's 2028. Introduce me to Prime Property Auctions today in 2028.
You want me to do this?
Yes, I want. Do you know what I want? I want you both to do it. I want you both to give me, this is like an introduction to the business in 3 years' time.
Does it have to be 2028? Because I actually, so 2029 is when I have set specific goals for.
What's the date? Is there a specific
so it's
date?
May 2029.
Right, it's May 2029.
Why 2029? Is it because it's your birthday?
2020, well, I will have a birthday in 2029, yeah.
Okay, I get it. So by a certain age.
There we go, so we've got me in the light and you in the
First thing, why May 2028? 2029?
Because I have always documented my goals, and when I really started like writing them down, and like affirmations, like this is what I want by this date, this date, this date. So it was always May. Like by this date, I want this. By this date, I want this. So when that started, and funnily enough, when I started Prime, I was like, I want to have £75,000 a month revenue by X date. So now it's like 2029, it's £1 million a month in rev.
Okay, so you're £1 million a month revenue business, May 2029.
Yeah.
Currently 200,000 a month.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So you need
5x.
5x in that time. Right. Any describe the rest of the business. So it's May 2029. Describe the rest of the business. You're doing £1 million a month. What does that look like?
It's a good question, and that's what we're currently trying to figure out.
Because that's how you then work that backwards, right? So,
exactly.
Right.
So we know our average fee, but we're also looking at other avenues as well of how to increase lifetime value of a client and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we need to be selling at least 100 properties a month. We're currently doing 30 properties a month. Mm-hmm. So. And then there's bolt-ons from that of what other services can we offer to the market to increase the lifetime value of a client and more money in our pockets.
So does that involve other departments bringing in like other services, potentially acquiring businesses?
Potentially,
right,
yes. Okay. So that is all avenues that we're exploring at the minute.
Brilliant. Lewis, same question. It's May 2029 now because John kicked
2028. I'm going to say the same goal, but I'm going to say 2028.
Brilliant.
3 years. We have 3 years to get to $1 million a month, and how we will do that is finding that is the problem to solve. And I think
if you had to outline that in a few steps, what are the most important things that you need that you're working on now? Because I know you've already got like we need that. What is it?
Going back to Hormozy, right? There's only 2 people that can get you leads. It's you and it's everyone else, and there's more of them than you. So how can we utilize referral partners? How do we create a referral network and activate them and keep them referring? Because that's the problem we have, is that people refer as business. Because we don't have something to prompt them to keep giving us leads, we're not getting as many as we could. Other
than us just messaging them on WhatsApp and chasing them
so
up on Instagram.
So this is specifically for referral partners, people who have got, might be deal sourcers, might be people who have a property sitting on the market or know somebody. Could be anybody.
Estate agents, solicitors, deal sourcers, anybody that knows somebody that has a property. Mm-hmm. We can pay you for passing that over.
And the way it works is they say, we've got a property on the market, they give you the contact detail and the address, you sell the property, you pay them £1,000.
Well, at the moment, estate agents are getting cut out quite a lot because we deal with deal sourcers. Yep. And then if a property is sitting on the market with an estate agent and the seller's grumbling a bit, oh no, they phone their estate agent, oh yeah, we're trying, but they're not actually actively doing it. And then they fill out a deal sourcer's ad. I'll buy your house in cash. 5 days. Fucking Davey Hutton jumps up going, just quick sales on! And then fucking offers them £10 for it or something like that.
See if there's anyone that's listening to this podcast that doesn't know. Davey Hutton hasn't heard his advert. They're going to be like, what the fuck was that? Crash their car.
Yes.
But
then, so then it's like they'll get a shite offer, or then they could come to us, and because ultimately they get to set the price. So estate agents are getting cut out by deal sourcers, who are then giving us properties, and then we're paying a deal sourcer. If an estate agent just comes to us direct, they'll still get paid. So it's tapping into that.
So we're a couple of minutes into the podcast, and they've already got in their deal sourcer. Like, get the referral fee in there.
Never not selling, Jack. Never not selling.
Right. So on the business playbook, what I talked about, the tagline has always been how they did it. So we want to talk about how you've done what you've done, and I know that another thing that we want to talk about is like where it's going, because this is something that I've been involved in the business for a couple of years, working with you guys really closely, and have really enjoyed being on that kind of journey from when you had one salesperson in the team when we got involved. So being able to see that growth. So I think everybody's going to be interested in how you've done that, and then we'll kind of come back to where it's then going.
It's a question I get asked quite a lot, or I think we both do. It's like, you seem to have accomplished so much so quickly.
So for context, 3 years, so 2.5 years in.
Yes.
Just under 3
years. But what they've not seen is the 11 years before Prime was set up.
So let's start there.
Where I was working. So effectively, the previous company I was working at started making the teas, and then just kind of took to sales very well. Always happy to get on the phone to people, speak to people, and ultimately in sales, you're just a middleman. So it's the ability to, somebody wants to pay as little as possible, and the seller wants as much money as possible, and it's bridging that gap of like, okay, a buyer's happy to pay maybe a little bit more than they wanted to, and a seller maybe takes a little bit less than they initially wanted, or they get the price exactly the price they wanted, and it's making both parties happy with that. And I've always been good as a good connector. So I've done that for now, as I say, over a decade, and it was just building blocks of always doing it and just keeping on it. And then so I started Prime in my attic.
No. We're going to go up. So
You want to go even further back?
Not even further back, but there's like, I was in employment and I was doing this, and basically that's where you learnt your craft, which is bringing the seller and the buyer together at the same point.
Yeah.
But there's a story within that as well for how you got to the point of, I started Prime. Your wife was pregnant, and you left your previous employer at that point.
Yeah. So I was the general manager overseeing all their offices, and it just kind of came to a point.
You also earned a lot of money at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I was paid very well for the job I did, but there was just also, when you're an employee, you can't make too many decisions that influence the business. And the big thing that I saw was the social media aspect. They didn't want me to have a social media presence, and I felt that it was very good to have one, given that I had a lot of clients that I had met through social media. Yeah. And it just kind of came to a bit of a head, and it was like, do you know what? It's probably best that I don't work here anymore. So then had to set up and go out on my own, which was fucking stressful.
I was about to say, because your house was lying in bits.
Yeah.
You just moved into a new house with, and Stacey was pregnant.
Very, very pregnant wife, yeah.
Right, okay. So, probably a nice wee point to jump in with the story of how you and I met. So, John Cox introduced, I had just started my business. Lauren was pregnant. You had just started your business, Stacey was pregnant. And John said, you two need to meet each other because you're at a similar point and you need to like meet up and see if you can help each other. And we went for a Wagamama. Do you remember that?
I do,
Edinburgh. Yeah. And John was chalk white, like white as a sheet. And he was like, oh my God, I need to make so much money. I'm fucked. This is going to cost you much money to start. I need to do this. I need to do that. And do you remember when you walked away, John shouted you back? And he was like, John, are you okay? And you were like, I'll be fine. Yeah. And then I seen John about, 5 months later, and he's like, I'm making loads of money.
I think it's for me, it was the fear of failure was really heavy, of like, oh, fuck, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do? Never mind, it's like I made it out in my head so much worse than it actually was ever going to be, because I was like, fuck, well, obviously I've left this great job that I was getting paid a lot of money in to go and like, fuck you, I'm going to do this myself kind of thing. And then it's the, oh shit, what happens if it doesn't work? I'm going to look like a fucking tit.
See that? So we talk about this a lot, right? So it's sometimes not even the financial difficulty, it's the looking like. Like what you've just said, I'm going to look like an idiot, I'm going to look like this.
Yeah.
I've been speaking to my mate recently who's worked in agencies forever, and he's like, I don't know, he's basically already doing it. He's already set up his agency, he's already trading. And he's like, I just don't know if I need to pull the trigger on it. I'm like, you've already pulled the trigger. The only thing he's not done is updated his LinkedIn. And that's all he's like worried about, is like putting it out there to the world to then, if he then goes and gets a job in like 4 or 5 months, people will be like, oh, that didn't work out for him very well, did it? And it's like, well, if you take that out of it, it makes it such a much clearer path, something that's a lot easier to do.
And for me, I think it was like, I know of the life I've wanted to lead, and I've always done everything I've wanted to do. And then it was me and Stacey were starting this family, and then if it was like I was making really good money, and then it's like we had to reduce our lifestyle because I have put a bet on myself, and she was very, like, you can fucking do this.
Aye.
Like, she's like, you'll be fine, you're very good. And I was like, oh my god, maybe I'm not this good. Like, and like literally was like, oh shit, what happens if it doesn't work? She was like, it will work.
Did you reduce your lifestyle? Honestly, do you think that you went, actually, we're going to do this, we're going to do that? We done one thing. So Lauren basically sat and went to me like, all you need to do is make money, for like enough money to buy food, because our wages covered everything else. If I didn't make a single penny, we were all right. But we cancelled our PTs. That's the one thing that I was like, we're doing it like that. And that was a wee one lifestyle change that then, when you then got that back, that was a good feeling that you're making, it's a tiny sacrifice. I know that people make actual sacrifices for this, but it was...
I mean, I remortgaged one of my flats, and I sold one of my Rolexes because I was like, I can't complain. Do you know what I mean? I can't.
We can't have this on the. We need to edit out the one of the.
I sold one of my. Well, that was my reasoning, right? I was like, I can't like be worried about money financially when I could have like, and then say, well, what Rolex am I going to wear today? Aye. So I was like, I'll sell this, and I knew that paid the mortgage for like 5 months.
I've got to swear, I need to come back there after the podcast. Right. So that's us. We've kind of got the job. So that. You then started Prime in the attic.
Started Prime in the attic, and so I'd had, I think, 1 or 2 auctions, and then Lewis and I had been hanging out playing badminton and stuff like that, and he was like, messaged me saying, "Do you want to come?" Oh no, he's like, well, "Do you want to come and have a coffee?" And
but we're going to stop there.
This is a fun podcast.
Shoot right back. we're going to shoot back to Lewis and start. So a similar story. So from John's employment into that point where we got him into the attic, how do you end up in the attic? So we'll go right back for you as well.
Okay, so when I was 18, I wanted to get into property. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, figured out I need money to get into property. So I was like, right, I need to get into business. Started a networking event with 2 other guys called the Property Hub. It was just a restart an event that was already running. We met once a month in a pub in the West End in the Dram. And we just chatted about property informally. One of the guys I started it with had 10 Airbnbs at the time, struggling with cleaning. I said to him, Tony, I'll take you on as my client. I'll figure it out. You pay me what you want to pay me. I don't care, because I don't know the business. I'm 18. Don't know anything about cleaning my own bedroom. But I figured it out. So that was my first foray into business. From there, grew the business around this one client, took on more clients, got a business partner who helped with operations. He got half the business. We scaled that, and eventually, I don't know if I should go into that because this is after we met. Me and John met, but eventually sold that business.
No, I think we should. So, just for the business Playbook audience, there's parts of your story that I want to jump into. So one of them being the outsourcing of the actual delivery. So you would get the contracts, sign the properties up, but you didn't. You did do the cleaning, or you did manage the cleaning at first, but you ended up moving away from the actual operations and just outsourcing that, didn't you? Can you talk to us a wee bit about that? Initially,
I was cleaning. Then it was my mum who was my first employee, and then she said, "Get fucked. You need to get other cleaners." So her friend I said this in a previous podcast. She came from Albania, not Kosovo, She just came to the UK. She needed a job. I took her on as my first proper member of staff, and I would drive her about cleaning.
Does that mean we can officially say that this podcast is more accurate than Colin's?
Yes. So that was how that started. Eventually took on staff in an employee model where I would hire them. I would pay them an hourly rate. Wasn't working. Then I iterated. Again, this is just trying to figure out the problem.
How old are you at this point? That's another important part.
So I started when I was 18. So this would be like 19, 20 maybe. I figured out, right, the best model for this is to specialise in Airbnb cleaning, have everything set so that it caters to that specific client, and the staff that we use only do that as well. And what we were going to do is we were going to charge a fixed amount based on the number of bedrooms in the property, which included everything, so cleaning, changing and providing linen, toiletries, and then we would pay the staff a fixed amount per job as well.
Right.
So we would charge a certain amount for one bed, and we would pay a certain amount for one bed.
And if you do it like that, then you know that there's a margin in there. There's not any unexpected costs because you're basically you're selling at a fixed rate and you're buying at a fixed rate.
And we had no overheads, so it's all variable expenses. We're not going to have the cost of sale without the sale, so we're always going to be profitable. And that was with individual people. Eventually...
Sorry, you also don't need to commit the money until you've sold the service before you have to buy the delivery.
Yes, and which is a big issue in these kind of services is cash flow. What we did was we used a software that when a job was booked, and it's all automated because the scheduling software would link into their calendar, so the jobs are all automatically booked based on when there was a checkout. We would charge their card, the client, on the day of the clean for that job. And we paid the guys every 2 weeks.
So you hold money rather than
So we're cash flow
money.
positive.
Aye. Okay. Did you ever have any issues with that? No, I suppose you've got time to rectify. So if someone's paid and then they're not happy with the clean, you've not paid because you're paying in a couple of weeks.
And this leads me into the final iteration, was we were using individuals who didn't have a business owner mindset. So for them, they've done the job, but if the job was shit, they're not going to go back and clean it because I've been paid. I need to get paid for this first. That was the issue we were having. So eventually we were like, right, how do we outsource the fulfillment of the service while also outsourcing the responsibility of it? And we came to a realization that if we use a company to fulfill, and they were usually family-run businesses, it means that we could also outsource the responsibility. So if they messed up the clean, they would have to go back and rectify it before getting paid.
Is that the business? Is that the ones that you sold the business to?
Yes. So eventually we had one company in Glasgow fulfilling the Glasgow properties, one company in Edinburgh, both family businesses. And when I made the decision to sell and go all in on Prime, we packaged the deal up for the Glasgow contractor to buy our business, because effectively we positioned ourselves as a premium service, catering only to Airbnb hosts, so we could charge a premium price. And
see, once you'd systemize it to that level, could you have run both? Could you have said, right, actually, I'm going to let that, still own the business?
With Prime? Alongside Prime?
Alongside what you were
Well,
doing.
I did for a while.
Yeah. Right, okay.
So I got involved in Prime in October 2022, and I sold Hostcally in May 2023.
Right, okay. Talk to me about that time overlapping.
I mean, I'd systemized it to a point. So me and my business partner, Yanni, had a phone, which was we called it the white phone.
The white phone, right.
And all of our clients would call us on that, and all of we had sales calls on that, all of the complaints would call on that, and all the cleaners could call us on that phone.
Right.
So we would have 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. One of us had the phone for 2 weeks, then very quickly, here you go, he would have the phone for the next 2 weeks. And over those 2 weeks, we were in the attic together working, and it was fine, but we had to take calls all the time.
Right, okay.
So even that small amount of focus that was diverted, I knew was still too much focus away from what we were doing in Prime.
Because I heard you answer on another podcast about the getting emotional about that business, and you described it as a means to an end. You said business is always a means to an end. Do you have an idea of what that end is for you now?
The end is me as a businessman.
So you just want to
So
get
that,
better.
that,
like
that business
allowed you to
developed
take-
me.
Aye.
It worked on me.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what it is that works on me. I am the one that's ultimately developing.
So you decided to go all in on Prime. So on the notes that I made last night, I was like, Lewis, background cleaning, all in. So that's like that's exactly that. Look, Lewis, background cleaning, all in. So talk to us about that decision to go all in, the process, how you met John, both of you then in the attic.
Okay,
Talk to us
so
about that time.
John had a couple of auctions, successful auctions, sold loads of properties. I messaged him and I said, how was your last auction? And John said, yeah, we sold X amount of properties, great. And I said, John, I'm looking to get into something property related, a trading business. And we said, right, let's meet for a coffee. That's how we got chatting about Prime.
Mm-hmm.
So went and met John at a Greek place, had a chat about.
The coffee was mentally strong. Just want to point out. I was like buzzing when I came back.
So it was the coffee, wasn't it, Lewis?
That as well, I think, yeah. Somebody wants to help me.
So at that time, you thought you needed money.
So I was discussing 3 of my clients wanted to buy in
Yeah.
to Prime, and they were like offering me a lot of money, like to throw in. But I didn't need money. Like I wanted money for the security. That's what I thought, and that's why I went to some of my good clients that I know are shrewd businessmen, and they were happy to dump money in. But I didn't need money. I'm good at making money. What I needed was somebody who would sit with me and help me build something, which is exactly what Lewis did. I mean, I think the first time you came in, I got you to write a listing. I said, what did you do? I was like, I'm going to phone all these fucking people who want to buy something. I was like, this is usually how I build like a listing, put it together. I was like, you do this. And he did it. And I was like, okay, maybe change this, maybe change that. Did it. Boom. And then at the time, I was still going out to properties and photographing them all myself. So then Lewis started taking the
I didn't know
inbound
you'd
calls.
done that.
Yeah.
You went out and photographed them
So
yourself.
I went out, like, meet the clients, yeah, okay, photograph the properties, then we'd come back and then would upload them onto Rightmove, Zoopla, all that stuff, write the listings, and then deal with all the inquiries that had been dealt with. But then once I was going out, Lewis was dealing with the phone calls. And then that's when Lewis used his previous business. He was like, why don't we outsource the photography instead of us having to go to it? So we can, like, I've always said, I make my money on the phones. And then he was like, well, why don't we outsource the photography? It's not a good use of your time. And the photographer that we use, so he actually offered us, he was like, was it 5 or 10 properties? He was like, I'll do them for free. I'll show you what I can do. And then from there, we were like, yeah, you're great.
Same guy now.
And we
Same
still
guy.
use him.
Still
and
use him.
He makes a lot of money.
Aye,
doing
of
what he
course.
does. And what I'll say about that is the way I met him is that I was posting about some of the refurbs I was doing with my own properties. And he said, Lewis, I'll come out and I'll do all the photographs for you for the rental market for free. I just want to get around investors. So again, he offered something of value for free to get his foot in, and that's led.
Solid cold outreach right there.
Aye.
And that's
So-
led to this.
But that's probably a detail that we missed out on your journey when you used to come together. So it was an offer that you made to John, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I said to John, I'll come and work for free. Just teach me what you know.
He was like, you don't have to pay me anything. Just literally that. He was like, teach me how you do what you do.
And you sat in the attic in his house.
Yeah.
At what point, we're going to get into the actual story, but at what point were you like, I wanted something here?
As soon as I said, no, John was like, are we doing okay? Like, are we doing okay? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, how much money is being generated right now? So John showed me the bank account, and I was like, we're fine, John.
And again, because there's the company I was at before, I was used to selling so many properties.
So at that point, did you know that the company owed him a Rolex?
If the-
Did the company owed him a Rolex
I
still
don't know that.
from when he'd sold it?
I was sitting on the
you-
top floor of a Strathbungo townhouse. Something. Yes.
My babe with a crying baby on the first floor. But it was more. I was like, how much money do I actually need to run this company.
You were
build
worried
it.
that how much it was going to cost.
Yeah.
So I remember you being worried about how much money the business was going to cost before it was costing any money
Correct.
to run.
So that's in my head, because we delayed hiring staff for ages, because I was like, we need to have X amount in the bank to be able to pay.
So, for example, if you're hiring somebody at an annual salary, were you thinking of the annual salary?
Yeah.
Because we had Andrew Dobby on the podcast, the owner of Made Brave. If you've not watched that podcast, go back. It's on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere that you'll find the podcast. But we had Andrew Dobby on the podcast who was like, I need to hire this person and they want 30 grand. I don't have 30 grand, but I've got 2.5 grand. So I can afford them this month. And he literally was just like, and his advice on the podcast was like, make sure you've got 3 or 4 months of money just in case. He was like, but he literally went, right, I've got 2.5 grand, so you can work for me this month. And then that person generated money to pay for themselves the following month.
That was my main concern. It was like not having money to pay people.
Mm-hmm.
And Lewis obviously was willing to work for free. And I was like, well, we pay referral fees anyway. You go out and you win business, and we'll go 50-50 on the commission.
Yeah.
So really giving the incentive to go out and win loads of business. I mean, you're working for what, two months before you got your actual first sale, but then from there. And I was like, I know how much I wanted to grow it. And it was never like I just wanted to work in the attic and make some money.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to have a big business, and I knew how much money I was going to need. So I never took any money out of the company for like the first 8 months. So when we wanted to start running ads, it was like, boom, we can spend a lot of money.
We're going to come on to running ads, funnily enough. There's a
No way.
big bias on this
No
podcast
way.
about running ads. You said that you always wanted to grow a big business. What is a big business to you? And what does that mean? When you say that, when you said that now, does it still mean the same thing to you now that you've got what a lot of people would say is a big business?
So this is not a big business. We're still in the infancy. So I mean, over 50 staff, multiple locations.
Is the goal?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Do you think of when you set that goal, do you want the 50 staff? Do you want the outcome that 50 staff gives you? Do you want the, like, what's the reason for that, the motivation for the big business goal?
I feel like it has to be better than what I had before.
Right, okay. So in your former employer?
Yeah.
Needs to be bigger, needs to be better, needs
Yeah.
to be more efficient, more money. Okay.
All of those things.
Same question to you, Lewis. Like, do you have that same ambition of growing a big business?
I want a big business in terms of numbers.
Profitable business.
I don't care how we get there. If we have we have
No,
5 staff, 10 staff,
you
doesn't
can
matter.
swear. You can swear. Like,
I don't like it. I think it's lazy, so I'm not going to swear.
No, I've not done a lot of research into the audience, but I doubt that the kids are listening to the business playbook. So.
I want a big fuck it. Okay. So yeah, numbers wise, I don't care about how we get it, how that looks. It's the outcome, as you say.
You want the outcome.
The outcome, yeah.
Aye.
You can literally generate £1 million, £2 million a month with. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could. It wouldn't be too tough for us to run this business, just us, if we were working every single day. But
So-
that's not what we want to do. We want to build a business in a certain way, and that will involve having staff.
If you done that, how much money?
Well, we do joke now and again.
You
When
say it to me
sometimes
as well.
when sometimes it's like we're not making as much money as we want, and obviously we have a lot of overheads now.
Aye.
And we always say it's like we can fucking go back to the attic. We can always go back to the attic, and we'll make loads of money. But it's also we want to empower the young.
I was going to
the
say you've
young
got a
team.
brilliant, hungry young team.
Yeah,
And a brilliant
we want to be able
culture
to
in here.
pay our staff very well, and we
Yeah.
want them to make good money as well. They all enjoy coming to work,
Yeah.
and we want them to enjoy coming to work and make loads of money at the same time.
One of the things that makes me nervous about your business, and
Oh, thanks.
everybody, no, but when we were talking about it back and forward, and you go start of the month, like, so it's the
0.
2nd of the month now, and it's 0.
Yeah.
So the structure of my business is retained revenue. So
Yes.
like when we sign up a business, as long as we deliver what we've said we're going to deliver, if I sign up a business this month, they should still be paying us at Christmas. They should be paying us in 2 Christmases' time if we deliver on what we've said we're going to deliver at that point. But with your business, it's back to 0 at the start of the month.
Yep.
And at the moment, are we allowed to talk about how many days, like how many sales it takes to get to the point of profit, or is it just a generic number for the sake of the podcast?
I mean, it does vary depending on
Yeah.
what the fees are.
So let's just say, for argument's sake, it takes maybe
20.
20 sales to get to the point of the costs are covered.
Mm-hmm.
So within a month, you have to sell 20 properties before you've bought the toilet roll. That's including the cost. Before you've bought a roll of toilet roll for your house, if you like. Before you've bought a loaf of bread.
Before Lewis and I can pay ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you need to have sold 20 properties by that point. So, and then from 20 properties onwards, you're in the, like, you're obviously going to then be paying for the growth of the business and then the profit. How does that, like, how do you deal with that?
Poorly. Genuinely. Like, it's like my mood is is very heavily impacted by how many sales are on the board.
Right. Your mood is, and your decision making.
Yes.
So I, as the person who phoned you and say, do you want to advertise on the telly this month? Do you want to advertise on that radio station this month? It's like, aye. And I'm like, I know roughly how many sales are on the board based on how you answer questions when I'm like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And then when we were looking at about booking Saudi Arabia, it was like, well, we book it and you're like, give me a few more days. I need to see how many. And I'm like, but I know that you can afford to do it. But you, like you say, it's once you get to that point, you can happily make these decisions.
And do you know that the stupid thing is, like, I understand that it's not the metric that I should really focus on, because we've got so much data that we know when we sign up a certain amount of properties, the average, how many we're going to sell month on month on month.
Yep.
So I know the numbers are there. It's just still is always like, it's only the 10th of the month. We've only on 9, 10 sales. Like, we've still got a long way to go before we make any money.
Within that, the metric that you always measure and that you always talk about is how many properties have we sold this month?
Yes.
But Lewis's metrics, like if we go into the data, how many different metrics, KPIs, like data points do you think that you measure, and can you rhyme a few of them off for us?
Yes.
So that we can go, these are the things that you monitor, because as someone who every week sits on a call with you to go through those numbers, I think that you guys are probably definitely one of the better businesses that we work with, analysing the data, seeing what's coming through. So you talk us through some of the KPIs and some of the things that you monitor to see how successful the business is that month.
Okay. We monitor too many metrics.
Yeah, everything.
We monitor everything, and we should only be monitoring things that matter. And things that matter are things that impact decisions. There's no point in monitoring something, having a metric, just to have it there.
Yeah.
It needs to drive decision making. So decision making wise, for ads, which is one of the big things, is qualified rate. So the way we work out our qualified rate of leads is how many leads that we bring in, that we speak to, that actually want to sell a property. Once we figured out the qualified rate, we look at conversion rate. How many of those qualified leads convert into signing up and listing the property with us? Once we have that, we look at sale rate. How many of those converted leads do we sell, and in what time frame? So for us, because we're not a recurring revenue model, we need to look at using data to predict the next few months based on what's happened in the past. And we know our averages across all of those metrics. So we know, in a sense, what we will be doing next month and in the month after, based on what we've signed up this month.
So on the ads that we run for you, which is your Google ads, we look at when those leads come in, what quality they are, did they sign up, did they sell, how much did we generate from that, how much did it then cost us when we work it back based on the ad spend and the conversions, or the sign-ups, if you like, how much that actually the true cost of a sign-up is.
Yeah, and I think
then whether that's then profitable at that point.
Yeah, for you guys, because it's more top of the funnel, bringing in leads, the important metric is qualified rate. Because if a lead is qualified, the conversion rate is down to us. That's
We've done our job at that
You've done
point.
your job. Once we know we've got a qualified lead, the conversion rate is based on the guy's skills and what their inputs are, not what you've done. And that's why we separate it out.
To me, what you said about using the data for decision making, when I was speaking to Tony Crolla, he didn't actually say this to me on the podcast, he said this to me in a meeting. he was talking about the dashboard that he uses to operate his business, and he was like to me, he was like the dashboard that I have access to. He's got multiple restaurants and venues, and he's like the dashboard that I've got access to is purely there for decision making. He went, I was once driving a car home from Glasgow, and the dashboard on his car cut out. He's like, and if the dashboard on your car cuts out, he's like, you don't know anything. He's like, you can't make any decisions. How fast am I going? Where am I turning off? Is the oil level at the right level? Like, what's like literally down to like what speed am I going and what direction are we going? And he's like, and without that information, he's like, decision making becomes impossible. He's like, but with that information, being armed with that information, making those decisions is second nature. And that's what he described, that when he logs onto his laptop and he can see right across every venue, everything from like the average value of a plate of food in each restaurant, he can see if that goes up or down.
And that's why I say I know that it's stupid, because I know based on previous data what we do and what we're going to make. But it's still,
I'm still getting nervous until you get there.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right, so you then went from, so we were in the attic.
Yep.
You then started to make enough money to hire. Did you move into the first office because you hired Mitchell?
No, well, what happened was we actually moved into an office because it became very apparent that obviously for the first 6-7 months I was in the house to be able to help Stacey with Maggie whenever she needed.
Aye.
And then obviously 7 months in,
you're on your own, Stacey.
Yeah, exactly. See you later. I'm going to work every day. But it was more like I wasn't needed all the time.
Aye.
And to go somewhere and say, like, actually, this is my workspace. Because what was happening is, I mean, you know yourself that when you're a business owner, you can make your own hours. Mm-hmm. But for me, who is a workaholic, it meant I was working more than probably made sense. So when I was staying up in the attic till like 12 o'clock at night to make sure that all the leads were done.
Yep.
And then that's not conducive to like a good lifestyle. So at which point I went into the office and it was like, okay, I'm going to work here. And when I'm here, it's going to be like deep work.
Yep.
And plus as well, when you're on phone calls to clients and there's a crying baby in the background, it doesn't sound too professional.
Yep.
So we moved into an office that we shared with 2 other solicitors, and I think they were in the office part of the time, so it was like a couple of days. And we had our little section, they had their little section, we had a big whiteboard of all the sales.
It's quite funny the thought of two solicitors, because when I don't know these solicitors, but when you say two solicitors, you think of two very professional, and then you've got you two jumping about, get hammered, and the rest.
Yes. So having maybe violent sales calls, like what the hell is going on with this person?
We were just talking about this. We were sitting out in your office while we were getting set up, and like I've always said that when I want to train salespeople, I'll bring them in here just to listen to
the rabble.
The rabble and the volume and the energy level and just how often the guys are on the phone. Is that something you think that you've built into the culture? Is that built in the guys' KPIs, or is that just how have you got it to the point where the guys are as on it as they are?
I mean, they need to be on the phone to make money. Get on the phone and start dialing. Like, if you want to make money, you need...
You're actually quoting Jordan Belfort.
Wolf of Wall Street. And that's just like, you can sit and hide behind emails.
Aye.
But if you want an immediate response, pick up the phone and ask them. So, are you happy to offer £60,000 for this? Like, if you send an email, that email is maybe not getting read until 8 o'clock at night. The person's then going to like, oh, am I going to offer 60? Whereas if you're there, look, do you want to offer this? I can get you the deal done today.
Yep.
Yes, perfect. Send the invoice.
Right.
Instant. So there's no point of waiting. Ultimately, some people don't like picking up the phone. They can't for whatever reason. In that case, emails are good. Mm-hmm. But if you want the instant, ready to go, pick up the phone. Just makes it so much easier.
You monitor call time. Still do that?
We do. It's something we've implemented recently. We didn't track too many KPIs before for the guys, which is a mistake. But now we are monitoring call times and number of calls.
And that's to help the guys to improve their own performance, rather than like a stick to beat them with. It's to give them data on how they can get better.
Well, if someone's like, oh, I've only had 5 offers this month, and only resulted in however many sales, right? And it's like, well, your call time's only an hour, like a day.
Yeah.
Whereas the top guy last month was his weekly call time was so much further above everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why. He
Aye,
has
there's
sold
no-
as
there's-
many properties.
There's no secret there.
Yeah.
So what I do in the group chat every Friday is a screenshot of the board, which is the results for the week, number of offers, number of instructions, number of sales, and then a screenshot, call time, and number of calls as a leaderboard. And it follows a very similar structure, the board to the other two charts.
Aye,
So
it's,
the
not,
people at
it's
the
never
top of
like
the
the
board-
people at the top of the board or at the bottom of the sales board. Or
No,
the other
so
way
usually
around.
the inputs create the outputs.
So similar to stuff that Callum White said to me on the podcast, another podcast that you have to go back and listen to, about the board, like the top performers on the board, and be able to see what they've done to achieve it really transparently right across the business. You then moved into the second office, and this is where is the second office where you hire?
We hired Mitchell in the first office.
Okay, and Mitchell was it. So the first hire was a sales.
Mitchell was
guy.
our first hire. So Mitchell was running Facebook ads, and as I do, if somebody runs Facebook ads for property investors, I fill them in because it's like, guess what? I buy properties first of all, so if they've got any deals, I'll buy them.
Right.
But most of the time, it's because they also don't have an out to sell the properties that they're generating leads for. So it's like, I am that out. Give us a property, and we'll sell it, and we'll pay you a referral fee. So I got Mitchell to come in, meet us, and Mitchell's like a little Labrador, man. So it was like really nice, and I was like, look, you don't know anything. Like, you're trying to run ads, but like there's no way in hell that you're going to be able to fulfill what you're offering.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I liked him. And I was like, I want to give this guy a job because I got offered an internship, and that's how I got my foot in the door. So he was working for us one day a week for I think maybe like a month, and he was good. And I was like, I don't want to not pay you. I was like, instead of like he was working in the co-op at the time, I was like, instead of working in the co-op, why don't you just come work for us? So we offered him the job. He actually rejected it and said he wanted more money. And I laughed and said, "You don't have any skills. Like this is me giving you an opportunity. You can either work for me for free again, or this is what you're getting offered." And then he came back and said, "Okay, I'll accept the offer."
He made good money though, and like in the
And
time
yeah,
he was there
and-
because he was incentivized.
Yeah,
and
of course,
there was
yeah.
opportunities for him.
But
to
it
do
was
that.
more like he was like, "No, I want to guarantee me this much." I was like, "That's not how a sales job works. I'm not going to guarantee you're going to make it. You need to guarantee that." And then from there, we moved into our next office, and we then hired Nathan, our first media man.
We're going to talk about Nathan and that hire because I talk about it all the time. But at that time, you probably could have done with another salesperson, an admin assistant, somebody to help you to deliver what you were doing. But instead, you hired a media guy to come and create content.
For me, we weren't overstretched because obviously when we started, it's like it's getting that like boulder to roll down the hill. Like we've got obviously 300 properties on the books now.
Yeah.
At the start, we didn't.
So there's a picture behind Lewis. Can you hand me that picture that's sitting against that bottle?
Of the 150 listings.
So this is a photo from when you had 150 listings.
So that was attached to a bottle of whiskey, which
That is amazing.
which Lewis got me for my birthday, and that was for the like we would toast that bottle when we hit 150 listings.
It's still got liquid in it, and you're at what? Nearly 300. When are you going to finish it?
I don't know, when people can come in and have a dram. People want to come in and have a dram.
So why a media person? So you said that when you were at your previous employer, they weren't happy about you putting content out online, and then your second hire was a full-time media person to create content for the business.
So there was a couple of, we were already doing it, so we were kind of doing our own stuff, and that's actually how I met Lewis is through social media anyway. So we do understand it's a very big lever to pull. It's also like, so we were doing it ourselves, but you know what it's like, it's a bit bitty, and then we got a contractor to come in, and we were like, okay, we want to do a reel a day, so come in, film content for the day, and just produces the 30 reels. But our job, so one day, because you know yourself, if you're in sales, you can phone 100 people in a day, and then maybe only 5 of them pick up.
You can have a really busy day with
Oh,
loads of excitement,
correct.
loads of things going on. Aye.
So the day that this guy came in wasn't particularly busy for like every person we phoned would go to voicemail, or then people, oh, can you call me back tomorrow? Shit like that.
Yeah.
So we went to the Scottish, no, what the fuck was it called? Richard Dixon's event? Scottish Business Conference.
Scottish Business Conference now. I don't think it was at the time. Scottish Business Conference now though.
Financial Freedom Summit. That was it.
Right.
That was it. Definitely a chat GPT number, that. So we...
Richard Dixon's going to comment below, by the way.
I bet he says it is as well. I bet he says it is. So we listened to Nico Leonard speak, and he basically said that having his full-time media guy basically saved his business through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And we were obviously toying with the idea, and Lewis went and spoke to every single person that was part of the media team there, and was just getting an idea, and then put up an advert, and we got quite a few people that wanted to come and work for us, and Nathan's CV was incredible, like genuinely.
Even his CV was amazing.
His
like,
CV
spent
was
so
amazing.
much time doing it, and it was so high tech. We're like, this guy knows what he's doing.
Aye.
So we brought him in, had a chat with him, and like you could just tell. There's a candidate when you speak to loads of candidates, it's just like, this guy's it.
Yeah. So for context now, you've got 2 guys sitting in the media team, equipment absolutely everywhere. You've got cameras sitting on top of your computers so that if somebody's having an exciting phone call, they can just hit record to create reels. Now what you do long form content on YouTube. You have your Gaffs Under the Gavel, like a kind of mini series.
Yeah.
There's a lot of effort that goes into the content. So I want to ask you about the value of that and why, like what you then get out the back of it.
Well, it's attention. So the more people, we're trying to build a brand very quickly, and if people think, if they've seen our ads, like our paid for ads or our social content, whatever it is, but they think, oh, John and Lewis, it's money that we're spending to try and supercharge a brand, and it's a cost that we think is totally worth it.
Lewis, on the brand thing, like you spend a lot of money on the brand. So you do radio, soon to be TV, you do all your Facebook ads. Obviously, we've got the kind of performance stuff on Google as well. The amount of money that goes into that, where do you see the value coming through on the metrics, if you like?
So when someone signs up, i.e. they instruct us to sell the property, they get a text asking them to fill in a form. And in that form, it asks them various questions about them, so we can build an idea of who our avatar is to further target them in other advertising. And one of the questions is, where have you heard of Prime? Or did you hear about Prime before contacting us this time? And the 2 biggest, I think radio is only 2 people, we've only had like 2 people say that they've heard us on the radio. But Facebook,
2?
Yeah, from people that have signed
Terrible. Edit that out, Jack.
up. These are the metrics. Facebook is the biggest source of, or where people see us before coming to us.
And it was Facebook, TikTok.
Aye, and
Just
Facebook,
no,
social.
because Facebook's
Just
a separate.
Facebook,
Facebook, yeah. Facebook and Instagram.
That's
That
interesting.
is where we hang out the most, though. Like,
Aye, you're more active on
we're
those
on
platforms.
yeah.
But what we find is that as we build this brand, all of our paid ads get cheaper.
Yeah.
We're not having to bid as highly for our own keywords because people are finding us, and that makes a big difference. So you might not, it's maybe hard to track how a specific channel is doing, but overall the costs will decrease because they all help each other. Someone might hear us on the radio and then see our Facebook ad and then drop us a message.
Aye, that's the thing.
You know
It
what I mean?
makes investing in the brand makes it more likely that someone's going to click on you. So what we see with performance marketing and with Google advertising is that businesses who are on, say, TV or radio, the number of people who click on their ad increases without them spending a lot more money.
Yeah.
Because when people type in, I want to sell my property, and they go, oh, Prime, I've heard of those guys, more likely to click on it than ABC auctioneer that they've never heard of. So they're more likely to click on it, and that's where they then get the value from the investment in the brand then comes back to them in the performance market.
And it's a good brand. There's a distinction to be made. Because if you have a bad brand, all of the paid ads accelerate how quickly people know your shit. and your advertising costs only go up. The reason we can say we have a good brand is our advertising costs are going down.
Aye.
Because all it does is accelerate
How many people
how
know
many
your
people
shit?
know your shit.
So as you started to grow the team, so we're now up at 15.
Mm-hmm.
You then move into this office. So that
Yep.
was a big pivotal day. I remember if you watch if people were to go back and watch the Prime Property YouTube channel, there was maybe 4 or 5 different episodes of you guys going out to see different places, and like it was a big decision to take such a massive office. We're going to do a wee bit here, so anyone that's watching the podcast up until this point will have seen the space.
So we actually we had agreed to take another office, which was a little bit smaller than this. It definitely wasn't as nice, but it was considerably cheaper. So it was a client of mine who was like, John, we've got this space. We went in and we're like, okay, we'll take it. Unfortunately for us, he ended up acquiring a different business and was like, sorry, John, that business now has to go in there.
Right.
Which is it's just what it is. So we looked at another couple of offices and we're like, fucking hell, man, like city centre real estate is super expensive. And we went to down near Central Station and we were going to take an office down there, but it was smaller than this, and we would have, see, as soon as we moved in, we would have been basically 2 more hires and we're like, all right, we're full now. And it would have been
You had
very
moved from the
cramped.
small office to the, you'd done, this
So
was,
we went-
this
so we
is
went-
office number 4, isn't it?
Yeah,
you'd
so we
done
went
2, 3
first
and 4.
office, then we went to like literally a tiny little boiler room that was like so tiny. There's loads of old content of like us doing press ups and playing basketball and stuff in that office. We then moved to another office in the same building, slightly bigger, but again it was crammed and it was very noisy in there because, as you said, the rabble from out there, and it's a very big office. So if everyone's contained, and we're like, okay, we need to move office. We also needed to hire more staff, so we needed a bigger office to hire more staff. And when we were running the numbers, and then we got shown this place that we're in just now, and it was just kind of like, you know, when you walk in, sort of like, this is where we're taking. It was like, doesn't matter how much, this is going to be our base. We'll make it work.
And you have got your own office in here.
We go in there because it's good as like, so if we want to have meetings about the business or we want to take clients, and we can get that, but we're still very involved in the business. And it's, again, as I said earlier, immediate feedback is so important. So if Lewis and I are both sat out there, instead of them like, oh, we won't annoy them in the attic, we're there, we're right here. Ask us right now. If you're not sure about something, don't sit on it. Ask me right now, because I can tell you how to fix it, and then you can go fix it. And then you can waste money.
Matt, let's tell the story about when we were in Croatia and you made the decision to move back out.
Yes.
So when we went to Croatia, we're going to come to Croatia in a minute, but when we went to Croatia, we were obviously in the villa, right? And the guys were working during the day and taking calls, and I think you guys had been in that office away from what you call the pit. So the pit is the part of the office where all the sales guys sit.
Yes.
And I actually think we were in the airport.
It was the airport.
It wasn't the villa. We were in the airport, and the guys were on the phone. And I think one of the guys said something on the call, and John was like, "No, say this." And then another one of the guys, I'll not name the guys, but another one of the guys said to the guy, "Oh no," he basically said, "I might not be able to get that to you quickly." And John was like, "Wrong answer."
No, what he actually said was, "Oh no, that's not my department. I'll need to get the admin team to come back to you on that." And I said, "Wrong answer."
Like literally sitting right in front of the guy he's on the phone, and John's
you-
still like, "Wrong answer." And he just turned to you and he went, "I'm moving back out into the pit."
It was.
And then I walked back in, and you were both sitting back out of the pit.
It's the reason that we are building this good brand is, if you are the property manager for a property, you're dealing with that client. If a client has a problem, you fix it. I don't care who you have to speak to. You go speak to that person, figure it out, and then report back. It's client relations. Because if you then try and pan everything off to somebody else, "Oh, well, sorry, somebody didn't get back to you, that's that." No, it's your fault. You figure it out. If they have a question, figure it out and get back to them.
It was Mitchell, by the way, and he's away now. Right, so Croatia, you set a target, and at the time it was like, one day we'll do that. So it was like, when we sell 30 properties in a month, we're going to go to Vegas. So you need to tell the story. Tell the story for the start about the Vegas target, Lewis.
I think Vegas was just somewhere that, as young guys, we want to go to. So we just said, like, if you guys can hit 30, we'll go to Vegas. We didn't end up going to Vegas when we hit 30.
I would like to point out, when we set the Vegas target, there was two. So there was only 5 people in the team.
It would have been considerably a lot cheaper to go to Vegas with 5 people in the team than it was eventually when you ended up going to Croatia. But tell us the story. So you were looking at 30 properties. You were going to take the whole team to Vegas.
Yes, and we hit 30. We started looking at booking Vegas, and there were some issues. We couldn't.
Definitely can't go into those issues.
Some issues about okay. We couldn't go to the USA as a team.
Someone in the team couldn't go to the USA.
So we started looking at, right, where can we go? Maybe a bit more local than Vegas.
Not a long flight as well. We didn't want to be spending loads of time on the plane.
Yes, because it was a working holiday. They still had to work during the day. We'd obviously be in a villa, it'd be beautiful, we'd have the beach and everything, but we still had to sell properties, because if the whole team's away, we're not generating money unless we're on the phones. So we ended up finding Dubrovnik as a location.
It's class.
And that was an amazing trip. And
I got a phone call to say, I was like, do you want to come to Croatia? I was like, aye, fucking right. And then you were leaving on the Sunday, and my wife was away, so I had the kids. She was away on a hen do, I think, until she was getting back on the Sunday afternoon. And then I arranged to fly out on the Monday. We never told anybody. And then we went out on the boat the next day. So you're saying that it was a working holiday. When I turned up, there was not a lot of work going on because we went out on the boat the second day. But you guys must have spent a fortune on that trip.
Yeah, but it was to reward the team, because ultimately that's what we wanted to do, and we want to reward the staff for doing a good job. Like, ultimately, they were putting in the reps and they're getting better, and we want to be good employers. Obviously, we want to make money. It's also good. It's good fun. So it's like the sales guys deserved it. They actually hit 34 that month.
Yeah.
So we went over and past the target, which was good. Could we have maybe gone somewhere a little bit cheaper and
spent a bit less?
Spent a bit less. Yes. But
that's not a brand.
But
a brand is the best of the best.
And then when we've set a target for this year of 50 sales in a month. And
where are we going then?
Well, again, so it will be similar to when we booked Croatia. It was like, well, where are we going to go? So it's like, we will take you away when you hit 50 in a month. And everybody who went in the last trip will go, oh, fucking they.
Right, 100%. Yeah. So like, it was amazing. Whereas I think if you'd have went, and we talked about this afterwards, and you were like, if we'd have went away and like made it a bit shite, the guys might not have been as keen to go above and beyond to hit the next target. Whereas if they go, that was amazing, then they're going to go for the 50. When do you think? So we're sitting in what we're on, 2nd of April.
Yeah.
When do you think you'll hit 50? Just so that I can plan the next trip.
Probably, it'll be probably summertime or afterwards.
This year?
I'd say August.
If we're very aggressive signing up properties, yes.
Okay. So we're going to come on to being very aggressive. And I want to talk to you about paid ads. And this isn't me fishing for a testimonial. We're going to do
I will give you the testimonial. You're great at what you do.
But so we manage your Google ads. You spend a lot of money on Google. You spend tens of thousands of pounds a month on Google. Yeah. All right, do you say that?
Yeah.
Right.
Said it now, didn't
we can't do that, but maybe not. So tens of thousands of pounds a month, every month on Google.
Yeah.
You spend tens of thousands of pounds a month, every month on above the line marketing, whether that's radio, TV. You spend a lot of money on Facebook.
And we have a full-time in-house media team.
Yeah.
So if you look at that as advertising.
So talk to me about advertising, the costs, the benefits of what you guys do.
Again, it's all about attention. The more people that know that we can sell their house, the more people we can sell houses for. So it's. I remember you said, because we also spend a lot of money on SEO as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry, we forgot to mention A1 SEO.
A1
who
SEO.
are actually sponsors of the business Playbook. So A1 SEO, who are your SEO partner.
So if we want to grow, we need to spend money, and I like to gamble. And it's one of those things. When I first started, it was like I remember.
Sorry to just jump. Look at this. My notes from last.
Is it gambling?
Gamble.
So I remember when I was in the attic, and I think it was before Lewis was on board, and I was like, I need £100,000 to put into marketing every single month, and that was and it's like, to be able to burn away. But you don't lose money on marketing. I mean, you can, but if you do it well, you make money. That's the idea. It's like put £1 in, get 2 back. So
And this is one of the ads that we're running just now. Google ads aren't expensive. Doing them wrong is expensive, because if you do Google ads right, if you do any form of marketing right, it should result in more business, more leads, more sales at the back of it. It should never be thought of as a cost. It has to be, because it is something that you have
need to have
pay.
you need to have the money
Aye.
to actually.
Because you've been involved in debates before with people who say that advertising is a waste of money or paid ads don't work.
Yeah.
And you have a very different view on that.
Yeah, paid ads do work if you do them correctly. But you also need to be willing, because if we actually shortened the period of time that it took us on average to sell our clients money, then you can put everything on a credit card. Like, say you could guarantee to sell something in 7 days, you could spend £1 million on your credit card because you would get your money back so quickly that before you even had to pay off your credit card at the end of the month. So some businesses.
When you said at the start of this week's section about ads, you said I need £100,000 a month to spend on ads. Is that why you wanted to raise investment in those first few months?
I think it was having the buffer.
Yeah.
Having the buffer to go, okay, I can throw this money in.
What is the plan over the next? So we've talked about the kind of plan, the long-term plan, and we're talking about trying to get to 50 sales this year. What are the steps that you guys need to? What are the things that you need to put in place? What are the short-term goals that you need to kind of implement to get there?
Okay, so short term, we need to get the guys doing more closing, deal making, because what me and John do, which is the high value tasks, is deal making, is closing deals, and signing up with a higher conversion rate. So that's the focus. So right now the focus is on getting the conversion rate higher. So what I've done is I've put myself back on all the leads. So all inbound leads I'm taking to sign up, and I'm testing a new script, tweaking it to basically increase the conversion rate so that then I can roll it out to the guys.
How long? Because we spoke about this maybe a couple of weeks ago. How long are you spending like refining that and like getting it right?
It's going to be probably like a month, something like that. But it's like every lead that comes
every
in,
single lead.
At night, weekends, every lead that comes in, I'm going to try call them within the first
You've got
5 minutes.
the prime white phone.
I've got the white phone. I'm on that white phone.
It's a gold phone.
But that's how it needs to come from us.
Yep.
They're only going to be as good as us, as we are. So improving our skill set, again, it never stops. You never just get good in that shoe. There's always a better way of doing it. So that, and another thing is deal making. So as I mentioned, when I came into the attic, John was deal making, but he doesn't think about what he does because he's done it for so long.
Yeah.
Me, objectively, I can say, right, this is what he's saying, this is how he's saying it, this is the words he's using. And I took on all of the offers to close over a period, to do the exact same thing for deal making, to create a process, to create a system, so that I can then teach the guys exactly the steps on how to do this. And now the guys have gone through that training, and they are now doing a lot of the deal making. But again, that needs to be tweaked and monitored until they're at a point where it's no longer a constraint. Again, it's all points of constraint. Same thing with marketing. You can spend loads of money to get loads of leads infinitely if you're getting your money back within the period of having to pay out for the ads. But there's going to be a point of constraint. There's going to be something else in the business that breaks, that can't go past a certain point. Whether that's the number of guys we have, our systems, our phones, whatever. So it's always like figuring out what's the next point of constraint and removing that. And then something else will break once you get bigger.
What is the end goal? So I'll ask you both individually. What is your end goal with the business? Is it something that you plan to build and sell? Is it something you want to just generate cash from? Is it something you want to like? Do you want to like hand it down generations, or is it what do you think?
The end goal is for there to be no end. Ultimately, I'm in business to be in business. I've never thought, I want to build it to sell it. Having the ability to sell it would be great, but I like what I do, and having a legacy of people saying I work for Prime Property Auctions sounds quite cool. Like people to say, do you work there? Like, great.
No. Do you like recruitment? I imagine wouldn't be it will never be an issue for you because of the culture that you've got here and the way that you share it. Like, do you find that people want to work here?
It's definitely become easier to hire people, and it's also when we hire people, they also know if they would want to work here, because all they have to do is go on our social media and go, is that somewhere I want to work? No.
Yeah.
So then we filter out a lot of people from that as well.
We were talking about a business recently that like the negative side of their business was a negative of their business was kind of shone a light on social media, and we were like, if I was 21, I'd be working there. Lewis, end goal for you.
Build the business like it's going to be here in 50 years.
And what about if in 5 years there's an offer for?
Doesn't matter. Like, we'll build it as if it's going to be here for generations. And when you build a business with that long-term view, you build a business that you can't build if you're thinking 5 years.
That's interesting. Where can people reach you?
Instagram, John_property_auctioneer.
And
Luis, Luis _property_auctioneer on Instagram.
You mean Louis?
Lewis.
brilliant. Thanks very much, guys. Really appreciate
Thanks
your
for
time.
having us, Jack.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Business Playbook, if you got a bit of value from the guys, feel free to reach out and let them know. If you enjoyed this format, reach out and let me know. If you got a bit of value from this, or if you know someone who might get a bit of value from it, please share it. And join us on next week on the Business Playbook, where we're going to have Ross and Craig from Dofos. And most importantly,
Get hammered!